What up, you guys? Rasati out here live in Singapore. Um, I was scrolling through my Instagram, right? And I have the section where we've saved stuff, and I saved tons of stuff, mostly because as I go through and I interact with people and I look at accounts and I look at what's trending, I want to save some of the things that really keep me like, those things that make you go, content that makes you think a little bit more, content that rings true. I like watching how people use memes actually, and it tells me a lot about what they're feeling at the time. And I can tell if something's actually written in anger or if it's, out of sadness or if they're really trying to uplift themselves. They're trying to, remember certain things. So I was going through my saved folder and I used to have it in collections and I don't do that anymore. It just takes too much time. But I went through and I was looking for this one aspect, something that it caught my eye like maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was trying to remember where the hell I put it. I wasn't sure if it was on Pinterest or if it was on Twitter or what. So I went through the saved on Instagram and found it. And it was a quote that said something to the effect, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. It says, being scared to ask for what you need is also a trauma response. And that's what I wanted to focus on. So I don't know if you understand what it means to actually have gone through a trauma and then have that trauma define your behaviors going forward. The trauma at some point has adjusted what you believe about the world, what is true about the world. And a belief has been defined before, I think it was by Tony Robbins, as something you know for certain is the way things work in your world. Something usually that has like proven itself time and time again. So for me, I'm going to talk about a trauma response of mine, which I am. I'm a lot of times scared to ask for what I want because so many times when I've asked for what I wanted, the answer has been no, or it's been a yes and then it never happens. So out of mind, out of sight kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of response. So for the most part, usually I try really hard not to have to ask anyone for anything, because I'm so afraid of the answer being no or being forgotten. It is one of my trauma responses. Now, I've been trying to work on that a little bit more because it is not the best way for me to actually succeed in life. It kind of keeps me trapped a little bit. It means that I feel alienated from the rest of the world because I can't ask for the things that I want because no one ever gives me what I want. See, I used a blanket statement again, and I have generalized the experiences that I've had because it hasn't always been the case. Sometimes when I ask, I get what I ask for. And generally speaking, that's what the universe teaches, right? You get what you ask for, which also means be careful what you ask for and be very, very specific. But back to the point at hand. For me, the trauma response is based on a lot of similar incidents that had the same outcome. So it became a belief of mine that I can't trust anyone to deliver for me, even if I ask, because so many times in the past, it has not panned out the way I wanted it to. It has not panned out when I asked. So for me right now, in order to get to this next level in my life, I'm not even sure what the level looks like, but I know that I can't stay here. I can't be this person who is always afraid to ask for what they want, because guess what? Being an entrepreneur, if I don't ask for the opportunity, I'm not going to get the opportunity. And if I don't ask the client, the potential client, if they would be interested in working with me, I'm never going to get a yes. So guess what? The only stupid question is the one that goes unasked. And guess what else? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't try to make. You get me? So guess what? The trauma response of not being able to ask because I'm afraid means that I'm only going to go so far. There's only so far that I can go by myself. They say if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what I believe in at the moment. It took me a long time to come out of that go fast by yourself mentality. I realize now that I can't get all the places that I need to go by myself. I need people with me. I need people to enjoy my work, to tell me that I'm actually doing the right things, that I'm answering the right questions, that I'm able to actually inspire love and forgiveness in other people, that I'm able to pull hope out of thin air and help them get through another day because of the things that I'm doing. So guess what? I cannot continue to live with this one trauma response. There are plenty others, trust me, but we're going to focus on this one for now, okay? So like I said, based on my past, I am so used to getting a no as an answer or having someone forget that they said yes and never deliver that I stopped asking. It is a very childish thing to do, but it has kept me safe thus far. It is a trauma response. It is a survival pattern, right? But going forward, I can't afford to do that because Closed mouths don't get fed. So if I don't ask for the sale, if I don't ask for the opportunity, I'm not going to get the things that I need to get to be able to be really self-sufficient, to be able to reach more people. So it's not always easy to identify the trigger. It's not always easy to identify what your trauma response is. It's easy to name the trauma though, because at some point you were able to actually put it into words. And since then, you've probably been telling people, this is my trauma, this is my trauma. But have you identified what happened to you as a result? What behaviors did you change as a result? What have you decided is the way you're going to live your life as a result? And most times the trauma response is to avoid the pain ever again. But guess what else? Your experience, your past experiences will continue to rule your life until you overwrite those experiences with new ones. And guess what that means? You have to be vulnerable enough to try again with the 50-50 chance that it'll be like it was before versus it could be completely different. This is why so many people end up in their comfort zones. They stay stuck in their comfort zones because a known devil is better than an unknown devil, right? So why wouldn't I stick with what I know because I've managed it so far rather than stick my neck out where it doesn't belong and I've never been before and I don't know what the view is like and get some other unknown craziness happen to me and it's another trauma. So this is why I have been stuck. I am afraid to ask for help. I am afraid to ask for what I need on the off chance that someone would say no or someone would forget to deliver for me. But in the time being, all the opportunities that I could have asked may have rewritten the trauma response that I have and proven to me that it's not 100% of the time that I ask and people don't deliver. This is part of why I use gratitude as well. Whenever I do ask and it does work out, I write it down. I notate it. Because guess what? Once I write it down, it's another way for me to remember as well. And I actually keep a notepad of things that I've written down and I'm grateful for because otherwise I forget. So easily we remember the things that hurt us, but we forget the things that actually make us happy or saved us by some chance of fate. So I want you guys to remember, it's not always easy to understand what your trauma response is. It takes a lot of digging and it's a lot of self-reflection. And let me tell you, Mastin Kipp's Claim Your Power 40-day journal thing has been kicking my ass. And this is the only reason I've been able to come out and say this to you. My trauma response has been, it's one of them, not the many, I have many, but one of them has been that I am afraid to ask for help and afraid to ask for what I need. So me being able to admit that to you is huge. You can hear the cracking in my voice. But in the meantime, can you imagine what you'd be able to change and what things you might be able to attempt and win at if you could figure out the things that you do that hold yourself back? Now, if you want any help with this, if you want to work with me through the Claim Your Power, the journaling process, because I'm doing it as well. I'm like into day 11 right now. Or if you want to talk to me about the things that I've discussed in this podcast, please message me, send me comments, concerns, questions, anything. I would love to talk to you guys. So until then, y'all take good care of yourselves, you hear?